And so, per my community post, I will not be returning to Canada. No, not to my miserable life there. Not to the villa, none of it. And I know everyone thinks, oh, she just picked up and left. I definitely tied up all the loose ends, okay? So you don't know what you don't know.
What are you doing?
I'm just educating everyone on how things are now. Clearing the air, really.
Oh, God.
As I was saying, I tied up all the loose ends, pretty much everything. Oh, I did forget one thing. Anybody want some cats?
You like short hair? I can have short hair. You like blondes? I can be blonde. Hyper. I'm here, and you're gonna get it. Eurobees and shit.
Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
And this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It's the weekend. Good vibes only. Later in the day, so we're having almond milk and decaf. I'm officially over 40. So I hope everyone's well, hope everyone's safe. Look after yourselves, look after each other. Today we're going to catch up again with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, the Salah and Chantal channel, I believe, and probably more to come. So, where we left off last week, we were talking a little bit at length about Chantal's new persona as a more modest person, a more modest woman, and a woman of faith, or at least married to a man of alleged faith. She talked a lot about the reactors last week, so we touched on that between Yaba, Just Breezin', Zachary Michael, got brought into it because of, what the frick is his name? Salah. I didn't commit it to memory. I hope that's not rude. Talking about that, Amberlynn Reed sticking her nose in, trying to get a dig on Chantal, saying your boyfriend's a fat shamer, but it's funny to you because it's not you. Something in the vein. Community board, she had all her comments off, and we talked a bit about shaming as well, because there was like 8 things she felt she was being shamed for, I think. The one that I have the most problem with is her claiming anything close to Islamophobia. But, so she talked about, she fat shames everyone, as we know. This is not news. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, you. Hey, how you doing? They're all fat, old, demented, stinky. A lot of attitude for a woman whose roommate said she smells like vinegar. But, you know, I guess we'll just... Good for thee, not for me, I suppose. Let's see. So today we're going to talk about, they went camping. This was where we left off last week. I put in the note. They went camping. I had no idea what kind of camping or what it would look like, so check that out. I want to touch on their channel, Salah and Chantal, because I did get some things I saw this week from that channel and not from hers. And then the idea that she is never, ever, ever coming back, as we saw in the most recent community post, one of the most recent, that she is not returning to Canada for anything, to tie up any loose ends at all. And somehow is supposed to still leave, I believe, in January with her visa. So we'll talk for a hot second about that. And that's, I think, pretty much it. I have, you know, a thought about pizza or two, but that's usual. So, camping. Now, to be fair, this place they went camping, to me, was gorgeous. They were out in the desert. And it reminded me of people who go camping locally here, though it's obviously, you know, a deciduous forest. It's a little bit different. But the ideas, some of them being the same, that this is like my semi-permanent spot. So when I come out here, the campground is already set up, and everything is in its place. It was very much the style of where, you know, they are. The toilet there was interesting for her, because they found a really good commode later, like a toilet, but it's camping. It was in the ground, like so many are in other parts of the world. That was probably concerning for her, so they found her a nice crapper. It looked hot as hell. Absolutely hot as hell. Chantal's poker face is kind of starting to fade a little bit. This, I'm happy, you can't tell me this, you can't tell me that, you don't know how happy I am. That'll protest a little bit much. It's a little bit over the top, to say how good things are going and how exciting things are and how what think we're seeing is not the same as what's actually happening in her life. Now, that standalone fact is true. But to what end? We've been following Chantal as the character. You know, whatever she does, it's still Chantal. And so the arcs go this way and that way and whatever. But now she's going to split her attention on the channel that she has with Salah. And nothing that people liked about Foodie Beauty is she doing now. Like, you know, there's a market for the obnoxious, farting, larger than life. Obviously, because those videos and those old kind of content styles that she did, not even just the lives, pulled a lot of views, pulled a lot of money. She was making very good money. And this is the time of year to make it too for YouTube, November, December. This is when, ching, you know, you start maybe getting a little more than a penny a view for monetization. So she's kind of ignoring that at the moment, I would say. Maybe with the extra channel, she's trying to piece together something like views and draw from two sources of income. But at the moment, she alleges that she's satisfied with the life she has now. And if it means less views, it means less views. So be it. I don't believe that for a second. This is her job. And if she didn't have this kind of money, you think anybody named anyone from Kuwait would have been like, hey, come over. I know you're a broke, unemployed, sloppy, practically homebound person, but you're just up my alley. And we'll see. I guess love's love. I mean, love is love. You know, Mark and I guess love's love. There's a lid for every pot. I do believe that. And then sometimes it ends up with very odd-looking couples. If she was happy, you know, or if she's happiest when she's herself. Well, she's happiest when she's obnoxious, which is when she's mostly herself. There's no room for that with her, what people are calling the low BMI voice, where she sounds like a much more dainty person, perhaps. I said perhaps. I didn't say it did. Just saying. So obviously, this is, to me, not the love that we're supposed to believe that the two of them are having. He looks put out a lot. She's kind of going through the motions. Her words are saying to us, I chose and love the situation that I am in. Even if it means I'm not as big on YouTube. Even if it means I hurt my family and friends and pets by just picking up and leaving and not tying anything up. Y'all had to see the floor toilet. You're going to have to look for it. On Natter's Natter, flashback, soon to be Natter again, probably. Between the two of them, they pulled maybe 5,000 views a video. There was one or two in the beginning that were maybe around 20,000. But as it goes, the views on that are lower and lower and lower. It's been suggested that she was like banking everything on the new couples channel they have. But I don't see it happening. It's not interesting. It's not interesting, even in a novel sense of this is a culture I'm not familiar with. These are things that could be interesting to learn, and they're presented in the most like boring way possible. You know, this like drives it home. None of us are owed an income from YouTube. Just because she's Foodie Beauty doesn't mean she automatically gets so much. Granted, the VIBs give her money for nothing, and they're of course entitled to do that. I did it myself a couple years ago. Bought a membership, sent a super chat. This was the first time she alleged that Natter was not kind to her. I didn't know it was the first of sometimes 2 or 3 a day explosions like that. So, and I don't dislike Chantal. She's mentioned me before as saying that she likes the channel and she likes us, and thank you very much. It's never my goal to be mean, but there's some things that like don't make sense and some things I have lived experience with that she does. Granted, I never took off across the world to go live in a tent or a dorm. Just to have a change of pace. Just go, whatever. Anyway, bottom line for the camping, they went camping. It was much more like glamping. They had devices. There was an air conditioner in one area where I think she slept in that little hut. Places to sit, places to lay down, places to hang out. So the camping looked cool. I don't know that she's comfortable staying anywhere but a bed. She kind of tried to reiterate as she was laying, you know, this way, just relaxed on the ground, that the ground was more soft than she thought. Okay. We'll just keep moving now. Now just remember though, Salah. Remember. You see how fast she ditched her previous life for the bigger, better deal that she believed was the bigger, better deal? Watch your wallet. Watch your finances, watch your freedom. Because she didn't have a life, so she took yours. And now it'll be interesting to see what she does with it. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. So kind of another kind of another thing that goes in with Salah that I wanted to mention. She may very well be taking advantage of his ignorance. She's in his stomping ground. But Chantal has a grasp of the language, probably a grasp of YouTube and its ins and outs more than a lot of people do. And she'll feed him bits of that so they can have a channel. But if this turns into Frankenstein's monster and then it's like an adder where there's his own channel and his own ego, it takes a certain kind of person to fall in love, real or imagined, with Chantal. She's a hard fit. And I wonder about the longevity of that. I would like to think she's marrying for love. Maybe it doesn't matter to her. Fake love seemed to be enough for her when she was talking about Natter, one of the many car rages that she had driving back and forth, saying similar things about him. So, I don't know. I don't see them staying a couple for very long. I don't know. Now, allegedly, she's supposed to be going back, like I said, in January. They're married. Though I'm not clear whether it's a legal marriage or if it's like a ceremonial religious marriage, like we just got married. You can go get married in the church, and in the eyes of God, Allah, whoever, you're married. But as far as the country, state, province where you live, is it on paper? Is it an actual, partner? We'll find out. 90 Day Fiance. It kind of screams similar. Kinda. And she has doubled down, again, because of her decision to leave on relatively short notice and leave a lot behind. She's doubled down on the fact that she absolutely cares about all the things in her life. And she did not just get up and leave and abandon anybody. We'll talk about abandoning pets in a second, because that's when I think a lot of people went, you're going to leave your cats 20 years. 20 years. Okay. Now, just one thing I wanted to clear the air, so there was a cut here. When it comes to Chantal's happiness, I don't get a rise out of the idea that she's secretly miserable. I remember from the Golden Girls, Dorothy was waiting on her sister to deliver some bad news, and Dorothy was eager to hear that something bad happened to her. Kind of the Schadenfreude thing. And she was like, go ahead, hide your pain, I'll wait. I suspect Chantal's unhappy. I wouldn't get any satisfaction out of her saying she is, other than the fact that it might be the truth. And if she is unhappy in any sort of way, that doesn't mean the end of a relationship or a marriage. People work things out and have issues. Child rearing, adoption, her situation with having children or not being able to has probably its own nuances together in that part of the world. So she may or may not be considered useful as much since she's not, able to reproduce. Plus, Chantal's quite a bit older. I believe, than Salah. Salah looks like he's in his 20s or something. Chantal's closing in on 50. She's not. She's 2 years younger than me. A year and a half younger than I am. And how different two lives can look, can't they? I mean, all of them. I'm not saying mine's better than Chantal's. I have done the runaway before, though. And eventually, you go home. Whether home is actually Ottawa again, or it's connecting with family, or it's something that regrounds her into her previous life. And how she encounters that was, to me, going to be telling. Because this is her new life, but does she have any respect for the life that she just left and the people, family, friends, and people who are involved in it? Okay. Did she do all that before? No, she didn't do any of that before she left. I don't believe she did. I think she tried to handle some of it via text message once she was out of the country. Now, why would Chantal want to be out of the country anyway? Well, she had a lot of responsibility here that, according to her, she left. There might be more. Her unpaid taxes. I don't care if she pays her taxes or not. Doesn't affect me. She lives in another country. If you were earning all that money here, keeping it all for yourself and not paying, then screw you. We get the 1099 from Google in the US. It's untaxed money. So just heads up if you're a new YouTuber, small or whatever. If you don't put the money aside to pay the taxes, you might not get a tax return. Mine just barely offset. My return from my real job offset what was owed from YouTube. So it kind of worked out okay. But just to bear in mind.
Hey guys, hey! The holiday season is upon us!
Oh, yes it is.
Mm-hmm. And you know what my favorite thing is?
Cookies!
Yep! And you know what I love even more?
A good Christmas cookie exchange.
yes, I do. So we put together an epic holiday giveaway involving just that. It's our holiday cookie recipe swap!
Oh, this is so cool.
Oh, it is. So we need you to send us in your favorite holiday cookie recipe. Now, 4 lucky winners and their recipes will be chosen. Oh yeah, randomly. And of course, we're gonna make those recipes right here on the channel. We're gonna add a couple of our own to it too, of course.
Of course.
And it all ends with an awesome DIY. We're gonna put together all those recipes and make our first ever holiday cookie cookbook to put in our cookie platters. Oh, the prizes!
Of course the prizes.
What do they get? Well, every winner and their recipe will get a prize off of our mystery gift tree this year. And the prizes are pretty cool.
Oh, they are pretty.
They are. We got gift cards, experiences, swag, gifts, more. So get those recipes in, everybody, okay? We can't wait to try out and share your favorite Christmas cookie recipe.
So on to a lighter note, let's go to TGI Fridays. Okay, gonna go to get what is it? Awesome Blossom out in the desert. It'd be something different. So I understand that she wanted to go. Chantal wanted to go because it's a novelty to see something Western abroad, I guess. I went to St. Lucia when I was a youngin', and it was interesting to see some of the stuff that I'm used to as Americanized, but from another place in the world. It's depending on where you've been brought up, sometimes it's narrowed thinking, like, oh, the whole world must think like me or act like me or be like me. And then Chantal talked about culture shock, not exactly as culture shock. She kind of explained it a little bit differently. Basically, she was just ignorant of the culture she walked into and is learning as she goes. The only thing she did ahead of time was buy the hijab. And then once she was ready and cosplayed up, she was going to go out manhunting. So, eating changes. I don't care, if she goes to a restaurant or a fast food place. Salah doesn't seem to mind. She's had fast food on camera a few times. She says that she's losing weight and that it's a fact. How could you tell? She's covered. She's completely covered. She could say she lost 50 pounds, gained 100 pounds. The filters cover the difference. So it's not it's funny when she'll filter herself and then you look at Salah, and because he's kind of filtered too, his skin is flawless. And I don't mean flawless like he's a young, healthy, virile man. I mean flawless like someone went in and erased everything. And, they share a widow's peak. There is that, though. So, again, her going past Chili's and saying there's good restaurants here is what the rest of us see the whole time. That she's trying to present one version of reality while showing another. And that disparity between the two is what causes comment, because we're watching a story that's being narrated, and it seems like what's being presented as fact or as part of the story isn't true. There's no sneakiness. She left to go abroad. She told all of us she was going to go, and she went. Now, I was stunned as fuck, of course. But now her having done that, what's the next move? Because Chantal can't stay on anything for very long. So what's the next move? She's made the transition, left behind her pets, her Pete's, family, the lease on the place, the taxes she owed, all of it. That's not a fresh start. That's running away. The motives are very different. I mean, I think she's running toward love, but leaving everything else undone just exposes how little she could probably bring to a relationship, because commitment means very little to her. Very little to her. It means a lot to the person she's currently with at the moment. When she needed Pete's and to lay on him, she was home all the time with him and talking and hanging out. And then when she wanted to go sow her wild oats, left Pete's at home alone. And again, I've said this a few weeks in a row. Chantal's not responsible for Pete's. Pete's is responsible for Pete's. But if they had a friendship or an agreement outside of just being friends that was perhaps financial, if she suggested that she would maybe pay more of the rent or bills than him because she made more, period, and then they were going to live together from there, and that's one thing. It seemed like everyone's on board, Mario Kart and this, and then she found a new toy and left. And left with very little notice, very little apology. And the apology is not for living your life. Oh my God, can't I just live my... Of course you can just live your life. The apology would be, sorry for the short notice, guys. I really need to follow my heart here, and that means leaving some things undone. Maybe you can help me. So, I guess Pete's has custody of the cats now? Until the villa's condemned? I don't know. God bless him. He's cooking, like, expired chicken and shit. Like, I want to, like... He needs, activities of daily living therapy. Up at the same time, showered at the same time. Let's cook for ourselves. Let's clean for ourselves. All that rehabilitative stuff. You know, I extended my college persona of leave the place trashed, my car's dirty, all that kind of stuff. And I kept all that well past the age where it's cute. It's not cute ever, but it was very uncute in my mid-20s. So some things were left behind. Some things were changed. People do change as well. And talking about Chantal making such a huge change in in a matter of months, it's natural to second guess his motives and hers, because love's forever. What's the rush? What is the hurry? I don't know. There was some sense of urgency, and I don't think it was to be loved and love in return or any of that kind of stuff. I think there was other stuff going on. People talk about citizenship, money, her being taken advantage of. Remember when it sounded like that at the beginning, when Natter was being taken advantage of? And then it all came out in the wash that they were just terrible people to each other and took turns one-upping each other on being awful people. So it goes. I don't know. I'm just saying. Still, some part of this is still for Natter. It's still to get Natter's attention. It's to get a dig in at Dee Dee. And how do we know? Because Chantal lost her shit and showed her ass, running her mouth on community posts with comments closed, and now highly moderated. Chantal is, like, not... Okay. She's not discreet at all about the fact. The bulk of her comments are hate comments. I'm not saying that's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm saying that's how her channel is. And so when you see 70 comments and all of them are good, you know she's filtering on her own and going through. Filter for who? Out of sight, out of mind? You don't want people to see it in the comment section. You don't want people to have discourse outside of her in a place. So she doesn't want to create a place where people can congregate and talk about her. And the comment section is where a lot of that happens too. She'd be better off to not look at it and leave it alone. She'd save herself hassle. We have pretty good comments a lot of the time. We get corrections, which I appreciate. And people who usually do it aren't super, super rude about it, which is even better. I don't think she'll take correction. I don't think she'll take any of it back. She's not going to start suddenly doing more for members. You know, just start selling memberships on the new channel so you can do more of nothing there as opposed to there. I have my own thoughts on memberships and channels. We'll save them for another time. But suffice it to say, if she's collecting money from people on the old VIB chat and their shtick was they paid because they want to watch her get stoned on camera and chit chat, well, then they're going to go away. They're going to pull away and they're going to go find something else to watch. Chantal's not the only plus-size white Muslim woman on YouTube. I can think of another one very easily. So this is not novel. You know, I think she thought it was going to be a huge, big deal. Western woman, fat, Middle East, this, and people are like, how many times can you show a camel? You know? And by the way, those desert camels looked healthier than the animals in the zoo. Just putting that out there too. So, I couldn't leave my cats. I couldn't leave the cats with a roommate. We won't say Mark because the situation's different, but I couldn't leave the cats, my cats of like 15 and 20 years. Just leave them behind because, I don't know. Someone says it's me or the cats, or you can't take them to Kuwait, I would think. But it's not rehoming them, just leaving them in the villa with Pete's. They're her pets. I think maybe she's underestimating the fact that they have grown to like her over the last 2 decades, or at least grown used to her. So quickly removing herself from the situation and never returning again serves her purpose because it's like the Band-Aid ripped right off. Oh, I miss the kitties. And that's after 20 years of companionship. Oh, well, I couldn't take them with me when I wanted to go play abroad. That's so selfish. That is so selfish. Pete's, like I said, he's not his own. I'm not holding her down for not taking better care of Pete's. Pete's is Pete's problem. And if he needs help running his life, I would hope he would ask for it and get some, maybe even some services in just to get him on the path of this is how life works as an adult. And he could be doing a little bit better. She's a lost cause. She's a lost cause. What did your therapist say about leaving on no notice to go to Kuwait? What did the aunt say? You know, I think after she showed up for Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving, ready to wear, ready to go camping in the desert in Kuwait. And they probably all were looking at each other like, what the fuck is this now? Really? Like, what was this? Is this like the grape lemon diet? So going forward, what is the moral of the story here? Her content's boring. It tends to be the theme across places. The content with Salah's boring. Her fake modesty. It's not fun to watch. It's not. And people get excited when there's drama because drama gets her views. Drama gets other people's views. Drama gets something for reactors and reviewers to talk about. Otherwise, it's just Didn't have much to say this week because there was nothing like super, super interesting aside from her being a totally bad person and abandoning her cats. She'll probably say she didn't abandon them. She'll use a different word for abandon, but it'll be abandon. I couldn't do that. I have to say, from one human being to another, to the extent that I had respect for her as a person, I have a little bit less because of how things are panning out with the pets. But that's between her and her conscience and her maker or her husband or betrothed or whatever. If he says she doesn't have to worry about it, I guess she doesn't. So what if we rot? I don't know. I think she understands. This is the busy time of year. It's November, December. This is when money can get made on YouTube. Even if you're a small channel, you can come up with a nice paycheck for, December, January. And she's not participating in that as much, but for the drama that she had, talking about this stuff. And the drama she has, it's activity, but it's in the community posts, it's in other chat rooms, it's nowhere that helps her. There's nowhere people, like, the other reactors are obviously making their cut off of it, and then the rest of us bewildered matches. We watch bewildered, wondering what in the fuck is actually happening here. I wouldn't call myself a proper reactor. We have other stuff we do on the channel, and the only person we talk about is Chantal, and we usually use some pictures and maybe a little video. But by and large, even though I find her channel something interesting to comment on, not more than once a week. And I think other people will be bored, reactors will be bored, because there's not much to say. That's not really a hyped up criticism. You are boring. You'll get a boring response. We are happy now. This is our life now. Blah, 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 blah. So, anyway, I hope whatever happens to her kitties, they're fine. I have my toy one for when the real ones won't hang out with me. So I have my companionship. And going forward into the holiday season and the season of giving and sharing, we'll see what examples of giving, gratitude, and generosity Chantal shares with us during this time. So thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, send a request. SmokeySteveAndMarc on Instagram. Email address and contact info is listed below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. We are going live at 6 p.m. Eastern. It is so nice to not be sick and to be back on track with videos. So definitely come by. It's pretty chill. We have good mods, open discussion. Hang out on the cool side of the pillow. So that's it. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bye. Say bye, Mark.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. You like short hair? I can have short hair. You like blondes? I can be blonde.